What's up, fam? It's your man Mark Black. I don't know what's going on with the camera right now, but I need to go ahead and try to fix this here. Give me just a sec. Otherwise, y'all gonna see a black screen and we don't want that. Anyway, fam, welcome. Welcome to Sucker Free Saturday. Or not Sucker Free Saturday, Hump Day. Hump Day broadcast, fam. Let me see if I can get this camera going. Give me just a moment. That's what happens when you go live, fam. Sometimes it just gets ill. Just a second. Namaste, John. Peace, Pretty Muslima. Peace, Miss Denny. Right? Shout out to ADOS Boots on the Ground, Carmen. To life, to love. Right? Appreciate y'all showing up. Let's see here. Yep, we can do a voiceover. You know, I'm thinking I'm with that. Kizzy's in the house too, by the way. Welcome to the broadcast, Kizzy. Yeah. Oh, it looks like the camera's trying to do its thing, so we're gonna see what's going on here. There we go. Bam. Y'all get to see my ugly mug. Peace, fam. Monty, what up, peoples? Welcome to the broadcast, fam. Cool Unc, I see you. Welcome to the broadcast. Um, so, fam, before we get started, you know, as usual, right? Check the links in the description field below, right? To get up on some information, to get all sorts of good stuff. Like all the good stuff that's about my broadcast and what I do is all in the description field below. Make sure you check that stuff out. There's also links there to support my work and things like that. I hope that you guys consider doing that. Make sure you hit the thumbs, whether it's the like or the hater button, right? Let YouTube know this is content that you want to see. And we'll keep it pushing. So, fam, I don't really have a topic today. So I don't really feel like, you know, anybody needs to do anything in the super chat. I'm not doing this to get money or whatever. I wanted to actually hear from y'all today. So there's a couple of things that I want to discuss that I want to bring up, right? Very minor things. Well, okay, let me take that back. Not necessarily so minor. How about that Chameleon Harris, y'all? We told her. We told her. No black agenda, no support. And everybody and their mom tried to say, oh, you know, y'all are bots. Y'all have no say over in how this thing goes. You know, the Russians is trying to influence the election. Everybody hates her because she's female and black and whatever else. Nope. We got a whole host of reasons why Kamala is no longer in the race, fam, but let's keep it a full ass buck. She slit her own throat. All we did was give her the rope. By the way, shout out to Darker Visions. Noel's in the house. Cool Unc's in the house. Producers in the house. And Kevin's in the house. Welcome to the broadcast, fam. So Kamala's done. Now, here's what I think is the funny part, fam. We canceled Kamala forever ago. Forever ago. Like, as soon as that video came out, where she said, so I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do anything specifically for black people. No, she was done. She was done. Like at that moment, fam, her campaign went up in smoke. It was like, deuces. So she was already among the walking dead from that point forward. But, you know, sometimes it takes a corpse quite a while to rot, to start stinking enough for people to understand that it's a wrap, right? You had all her stands and all the so-called blue checks and this, that, and the third, just sitting over there beating a dead horse. I will see, and thank you for the love, fam. I appreciate you. But yeah, that's the facts, fam. She was dead right out of the water from word say go. It was like, you know, she came out strong. MLK Day at HBCU, the whole 9 yards. And by February, had slit her own damn throat. So, where's the shock? Like, the only people that appear to be really shocked by Kamala's exit, right, from the primaries is all the people who thought that they was gonna get some sort of come up or position off of her. I mean, hell, it seems like Joy Ann Lomina was basically trying to run for I don't know, press secretary, right? You see what I'm saying? For a Harris administration or something, the way she been caping. But all the rest of us knew. See, it's a new day, fam. You don't get to sit here and tell us that you're not going to do nothing specifically for us and then be like, so when can I count on that vote, though? Hmm, that's not how this works. Turns out that Chameleon Harris had trouble raising money. Why wasn't she getting money from all those dreamers that she supported? The sign she had right there at the front door of her office at the Senate said, "Dreamers welcome here." Why wasn't they kicking in the funds? You know, Kamala came hard for East Indians and H-1B visa holders and shit. All these people getting tech jobs in Silicon Valley and so on and so forth. Where was the bread forthcoming from them? Because once you tell us that you're not going to do anything specifically for us, you surely wasn't expecting that we was going to do anything specifically for you, were you? And all the meals at Sophie's and all the hot sauce and all the rocking the Cardi B, all of the ski weed and all of that stuff is not going to save you. I mean, if she thought that she could count on support from us, that we was going to love her enough to not only back her with our one political weapon, our vote, but to actually come up out of our pockets, we of limited capital, means, and resources, to back our play after she told us that she is going to do nothing specifically for us, especially in the era post-Obama? Really? Woman, what the hell would, you know what? I'm actually inclined to believe at this point she do smoke weed. She must have been high if she thought that if that was gonna fly. Seriously. She must really be on that good kush. But you know what I say, fam? Good riddance to bad rubbish. Personally, the only thing that I'm thinking about at this point when it comes to Chameleon Harris is 2022. I would like to see us keep that same energy and ensure that she retires gracefully into the sunset in 2022 from her Senate seat. Because I don't even want her ass in the Senate representing my brothers and sisters, my tribes people in California. Nope. I want her done. We are not finished with you, Kamala, by a long shot, baby. You want to finger pop and bob your head, and let us be really clear. Your career is over. Let us be clear. You like to throw that at us, a la Obama, right? So let us be really clear, Kamala. You're not safe in your little sinecure in California either. Not if we have anything to say about it. The only way you'll ever hold another office is if you somehow get the nod from Jim Crow Joe to be his sidekick. Because if we have anything to say about it, you won't continue to sit in that Senate seat after 2022, after the patent disrespect you showed us during this primary, wearing our lineage like a cloak, like you were born in it, while showing us nothing but the utmost of disrespect. Oh, no, 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 no. No, no, no. Kamala, in the words of Anonymous Sister, we do not forgive. We do not forget. We want you all the way gone. We want you to retire with grace. Well, technically speaking, we don't even care if you retire with grace. We just want you to retire. There is no black people in this country that should trust you with political power over their lives. We're not done with you. So enjoy your time during this impeachment inquiry. Get your little sound bites in, trying to make yourself look good going after Trump. Enjoy it. Because if we got anything to say about it in 2022, you won't have to worry about doing it anymore. That's facts. That is facts. See, fam, you know, what I think is funny about this whole shit, right? This is us talking. We family, so we can just keep it a full ass buck. We don't have to bite our tongues here or mince words. Barack Obama sold us a bill of goods. We were the only portion of the electorate that actually done worse under his administration. Do you understand that, fam? Like, do you understand the ramifications of this man's skin representing all of us and being used as the tool to set us back in so many ways? It's not even funny. Yeah, I do listen to Morpheus Unplugged. He's a dope brother. I don't agree with him everything, but I do listen to the brother. He's pretty dope. How did corny, corny Booker and Kamala Harris think this thing was gonna play out? That y'all was just gonna show up with very lightly melanized skins. Cory Booker being a Rhodes Scholar, coming from a solidly upper middle class background, he wouldn't know black reality if the shit bit him in the ass. But they think making up stories about Shaheed and T-Bone and waving around their little lightly dusted, lightly melanated skins like that was supposed to be the red flag for the big black bull to come out swinging for them. Make it make sense, fam. Make it make sense. I mean, but at least Cory Booker knows what he is. He's trying to get the white folks to love him. Cory Booker talking about, he's like the political common, reaching out the hand of love, and we should just all love each other. You need to put yourself in the shoes of the average white man, and this and the third. He knows what side his bread is buttered on. Cory Booker's not sitting here trying to cloak himself in our lineage like he understands it. Sure, he may share it, but all skin folk ain't kin folk. He's got more in common with somebody who works with Goldman Sachs, makes millions of dollars a year than he got with you or I. Yeah, and even having Rosario Dawson on your team to try to, turn people away from allegations. Not go there, right? I don't do things like that. But there have been allegations that, Corny might be something other than what he portrays himself as. Even having Rosario Dawson ain't gonna help you, fam. But at least he know what lane he in. He going after the white folks. You heard what he said after Kamala dropped out. He tried to come. This man is so weak. Even when he tries to pretend he mad, you can't feel him. Like, Courtney be like, and it's just a damn shame that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bruh, shut up. Like, just shut up. Like, don't talk to us. The white folks might think you got a little angry black man to you, but we see through your jive ass like glass, fam. I mean, it is what it is, fam. Yes, he's a member of the tribe, right? I cannot deny the man's lineage. But he's got about as much connection to the everyday life of his tribe's people as Donald Trump do. I'm just saying. Like, come on now. You telling stories about your homeboy Shaheed? The fuck out of here. You know what, fam? For all of the stands out there for Kamala Harris, understand that the primaries is like the Highlander, right? There will ultimately and can only be one So no matter who you standing for, you may ultimately have to watch heads roll, right? It's like Game of Thrones. In the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's just keep it a full ass buck. So, to Kamala Harris, understand we are not finished with you, right? Our tribe is like a dog with a bone. You disrespected us, Kamala. You portrayed yourself to be something other than what you are. No, you are black. Nobody denying that. You are not us. You don't get to wear us like a second skin and think it gets you anywhere, that we owe you something. So for your disrespect, we have worked our ass off and have been successful in helping you torpedo your political aspirations as president. We are not done with you. Be expected to hear from us, Miss Harris, in 2022 when we come after your Senate. Just a heads up. Just a heads up. Because we coming after your Senate seat, sister. Sister girl. Kiwi. Yeah, keep on popping. You're going to need it. You're going to need it. Family, let me ask you something, right? And then I'm going to open up the phones. Because like I said, I don't want to talk too damn long. But what do y'all think about this whole primary so white thing? Right? Like, you know, back a while back, wasn't it like what's his name, Will Smith and his wife, you know, like they were all talking about Oscars so white, this, that, and the third. New hit piece, huh? Let's check it out. I'm gonna bring it up. Give me a second here, fam. I'm gonna bring this up. Y'all running the show today, so I'm glad you popped this up here, fam. We gonna talk about it today. Let us go to the teaching screen. See if we can bring this up. Here we go. Democrats are freaking out about pro-Trump messaging to occasional black voters. We haven't yet found the right language that makes the community feel as if we understand where they're coming from and what's actually happening to them, a DNC official said. Huh. Really? Interesting. Democrats are increasingly worried that black Americans with an uneven voting history may tune out Democratic candidates in 2020 as fringe messaging campaigns and disinformation breed cynicism over what the party has done for black Americans. Oh, fam. See, it's like they trying to get going. Fam, this is bullshit right here. Disinformation breeds cynicism. Fam, let me ask you something really quickly. What has the Democrats actually done for black Americans? Right? I mean, in order for me to be cynical, right? In order for me to have cynicism, there would have to be something that I would have to make that value judgment based on. So all somebody has to do to put the lie to any Republican, you know, forays into trying to siphon off the black vote would just be simply to highlight what it is that the Democrats have actually done for us. Why is this so hard? Right? Ibrahim, yep, our voting history's been consistent since the 60s. No Democratic president has gotten into office without our vote. Not a one. So we've delivered our part. What has the Democrats actually done specifically for black Americans? Right? Because they'll write all these articles, you know, sitting here saying shit like, we're disaffected, we're cynical, you know, we're subject and vulnerable to fringe messaging, right? When in point of fact, what we are is, for the first time since LBJ, being self-interested as a group. Yeah, that we're actually putting our interests over the interests of gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual people, right? That we're putting our interests over the interests of illegal immigrants and so on and so forth, right? We're putting our interests over the interests of liberal, pale people getting more money and more access to resources and more free shit. You know, we putting our interest over saving the whales and the red-eyed, blue-breasted swamp booby. That's the only thing that I see differently. We sat here and we gave our support in record numbers to a man who then sat there and told us, nah, I ain't gonna do anything specifically for black people. I'm the president of America, not black America. And he proceeded to do just that. SBA loans went down under Barack Obama, right? Access to capital went down under Barack Obama. Black home ownership went down under Barack Obama. I mean, I could go, the list goes on and on and on. And we were supposed to give Barack Obama propers because he took the Biden era crack sentencing guidelines and reduced it from a disparity of 100 to 1 to 19 to 1. And then when we come to him with valid concerns about what's happening to our community at large, we get told, don't get mad, vote. Stop crying. Stop complaining. Take off your house slippers. Put on your marching shoes. Vote. Well, we got told. Everybody else got tangibles, though, right? Under Barack Obama's 2 terms, we watched gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual people go from having civil unions, which is rights, right, to just straight gay marriage, no problem. He had an evolution on that issue, right? You see what I'm saying? It was his administration that put in the executive order for DACA. So everybody else got specific movement on their particular issues. What we got was more fucking morality tales and speeches and shit. We got him going to see our brothers graduate at college and giving them speeches on pulling their pants up and getting a job. These were black men who had accomplished something that black men rarely get a chance to fucking do, which is actually attend college. And not only did they attend, but they graduated. And for their hard work, for their 4 years of effort and sacrifice, many of whom were probably the first brothers in all of their generations of their family's history being here in America to attend college. What did they get from the President of the United States? They didn't get access to funds to create entrepreneurship and jobs. They didn't get access to more federal job opportunities and guarantees for contracts through the federal government and stuff like that. They didn't get executive orders giving them access to more resources and funding and education so that they can build and be owners. No, they got fucking speeches and morality tales. So the Democrats is trying to tell us that we're supposed to be happy about that. Yeah, we're supposed to be happy watching everybody else get a piece of the pie, get they come up, get they do, get their specific concerns heard, their specific needs met. We're supposed to be just ecstatic, over the moon. Justice is done. I'm so glad they did what they did up in Standing Rock. The fuck? No, 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 no. Oh, no. We're going to do for us, specifically us, or you ain't got shit coming. And it don't matter what party you rep. It don't matter how much melanin you bear in your skin. The black descendants United States slavery demand that justice is due, the debt is due. It's time to pay up. You're not speaking that. You're not speaking our language. We're not being cynical. It's not cynical to be self-interested, to be concerned about our specific needs as a tribe. It's not cynical. It's not succumbing to fringe messaging in order for us to actually be concerned about what's happening to us in our place and our stance in this country. It's not us being vulnerable to fringe messages to actually listen to what the sitting president might have to say about what it is that our condition is and what he might be able to do to ameliorate that. Are you fucking high? But fam, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The Dems, your beloved Dems, are setting you up. Come 2020, November 4th, 2020, they are going to be ready with the largest barrage of attacks on Native American blacks that you have ever seen. Because I can guarantee you, fam, look, the House will vote to impeach Trump. The trial will then occur in the Senate, at which point the Senate will refuse to convict Trump. He is not going anywhere. And so by impeaching him, they will galvanize the Republican base. They're good. Like, that vote's locked in. And as impeachment fatigue sets in, as the bullshit sets in, don't forget, Donald Trump is steadily talking. He's steadily talking to people. Donald Trump just went in and defended Hong Kong. That's going to play a huge role in how people see his foreign policy. Because defending the people of Hong Kong is going to be considered hugely popular for swing voters. So a lot of white folks that wouldn't normally give Donald Trump the time of day is going to be giving him a second look. And then there's the elephant in the room. Black conservatives and people that they've been able to peel off from the Democrats. We do need to talk about Brexit, fam. We need to talk about it, right? Because while you may not agree with the bootlickery, the rampant coonery and butter biscuit chasing of people like Candace Owens, so on and so forth, you have to look at the message. You can't be talking about the messenger. Damn the messenger. Damn the personality. We need to talk about the message. Now, what is the Brexit message? The message is actually pretty simple when you look at it on its face. The message is that the Democrats ain't done shit for you. So what the hell do you have to lose by engaging with the Republicans? That's really essentially the Brexit message. That you're not going to get anywhere further fucking with the Democrats. We are at an impasse with them. We're not going anywhere. Right? By the way, shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm so glad to have you all here, fam. I'm gonna open up the phone lines here pretty soon. Right? I know you see the number on the screen, but don't call in yet. I just want to say a couple more. Yeah, Coleman Cruz Hughes, the young black boy at HR 40. Nothing. He's still a conservative. He's still gonna do what he do. Nothing's happened to Coleman Cruz Hughes. Here's the thing, fam. I would like for you to consider the fact that Donald Trump, for all of the rhetoric, all of the bullshit that you've seen, right, from the Democrats when it comes to Donald Trump, has Donald Trump actually been really any worse for black people as a president than anybody else? I'm not saying vote for the man. I'm not telling you. Cause see, I don't have the guts to tell you who to vote for, right? But I'm asking you to do what I always do, which is to ask questions. Here's a legitimate question: has Trump done anything that is so necessarily beyond the pale that black folks simply cannot see themselves fucking with him at all politically? I'm not talking about whether or not Trump's racist. Trump's white and Trump's American. Of course he's racist. Okay, so now that we done got that out of the way, we're talking about policy wise, right? Politically speaking. Has Trump done something so outside the pale, so beyond the pale, that you simply can't, he's not even worth you looking at as a black person? That's a really good question to ask, right? Because yes, the cool man is saying that there are people out there who are painting this man as a fucking boogeyman. And let's be real. There are Republican policies and platforms and programs that they support that are problematic. Opportunity zones in its current iteration is problematic. I can see us having an issue with that. But is that discussion not open? Like, in other words, we see problems with opportunity zones. So we simply cannot address those issues with the current sitting president, with President Trump. We can't bring those concerns to our local Republicans. We can't say, hey, in the main, it might be something that could work for us, but here's some issues that we've noticed with it. We want to talk more about community buy-in and so on and so forth, right? We want to talk about the issues. So we can't even talk about it. See, I figured out something about these lousy ass Democrats this go round. They don't want to tell us shit. They don't want to give us nothing. But they don't want us to think that anybody else is going to give us anything either. Let's just keep it a full ass buck. Keep it a full ass buck. They don't want to give us nothing. You feel me? They don't want to give us nothing. But they don't want us to think that anybody else is going to give us anything either. See what I'm saying? They like that abusive ass spouse who tell you you ain't gonna never be shit without me. Who else gonna want you? Stupid. You ugly. You lazy. You no good. Who else gonna have you but me? That's what the Dems are to me. That's how they treat us. When I want your opinion, black people, I'll give it to you. When I want your vote, I'll demand it from you. That's exactly how they treat us. But what's the biggest fear of that abusive son of a bitch? The biggest fear is that somebody else is gonna come along and say, you know what, baby, you all right. Why you with him? You beautiful, you smart, you great. Let me make a place for you. Fuck that nigga. That's that person's biggest fear. Is that somebody else is gonna see your value, see your worth, and actually do something about it. I personally think that I put it like this: if we can take Democrats at their word, all right? So if we can accept the words on the strength of the Democrats, well, here's what the Democrats have promised black people. Right? Let's take the Democrats at their word. This is what the Democrats specifically have offered to my tribes people. Okay? Now, what has the Republicans and Trump had to say about black people? Well, let's review. In 2016, out of all of the candidates for president, all of them, Donald Trump was the only one that actually gave a speech specifically referring to us. Speech went on for about an hour, and he gave the damn speech in the whitest state in the country. He gave it in Iowa and spent an hour talking about things he would like to do with black people. And he openly acknowledged, he said, it's not likely that you'll vote for me. I understand that. But you see what you're getting from the Democrats. What the hell do you have to lose? That was Donald Trump in 2016 on the campaign trail. Let's fast forward. Donald Trump in August of this year was in Virginia, paying homage to Virginia's 400 years as a colony and as a state in the Union. Big fucking deal, right? He's running out the history of Virginia. He talked about Bacon's Rebellion and so on and so forth, the whole 9 yards. Then he gets to talking about us. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh shit, what did he say about us now? Well, he talked about the arrival of our ancestors on these shores. And he described these individuals, and I quote him directly, as sacred souls. Let's fast forward a little bit more. He had a meeting specifically with black Republicans. I think it was in October. And so he's speaking to these black conservatives, these black supporters of his. And he leans forward into the mic like he's telling a secret or something. He says, your people helped build this country. Your people built this country. I mean, it was like a conspiracy. Like, I'm going to tell y'all probably didn't know this, but y'all helped build this shit. And he sat there and talked about the contribution that black people have made to this country over and over and over again. Now, pause. Does this mean that Donald Trump is our bestie? No, probably not. Right? Does this mean that Donald Trump automatically knows what our best interests are, and so we should just take him at face value? No, it don't mean. But let me contrast for you what we just went over Donald Trump talking about when it comes to you, specifically you. This wasn't directed at DACA, gay rights, dreamers, Indians, whether dot or feather. This was directed directly at you. Now, let's contrast that with what the Democrats are saying directly about you. Enough said. Right? If we could take the Democrats at their word, right? If you think you could take the Democrats at their word, keep that same energy. Right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Trump ain't trying to talk to me because it sounds like he is. Sure. Is it pandering? Probably. But I can't run the risk politically of it not being more than that. Better yet, if he's willing to pander to me, that means at least he sees me. That's a place where I can have a start to a conversation. Just keeping it a full ass buck. The Democrats ain't saying shit. And when the few Democrats do speak about you, it's to make sure that America is clear as to what they are not going to do. Like, it's not even that the Democrats aren't necessarily saying anything. When they do speak about you, they are making it patently clear to everybody that they are not going to do anything specifically for you. You're going to get window dressing. You're going to get, well, I support HR 40. We all know HR 40's toothless. And it don't mean shit. And you know what? Old boy Pete said Trump just wants to get reelected. I say, what's the problem with that? If he's willing to have a sit down at the goddamn table with our people and bring some substantive legislation that he will support, like the First Step Act and other things that he's indicated he's willing to support, that motherfucker can get a second term for me. He ain't been no worse than any other president we've had. I'm sorry, but I just can't see the man like the boogeyman. Oh Lord, it's Trump. What are we gonna do? I can't. We had Kamala Harris, who ostensibly understands so much about our people and our culture and our lineage and our history and shit, who told us she wasn't gonna do shit for us. She sat there right in front of another black woman and said, so no, I'm not gonna sit here and do anything specifically for black people. Because whatever benefits that black family is gonna benefit the black community and black people. Fuck you. Fuck you. No. So shit, the Democrats have basically told us that they're not going to do anything specifically for us. So I hear that. What else do we need to talk about? Like I get the whole Democrat down ballot strat. I don't agree with it, but I get it, right? If you're still aligning yourself with the Democrats in some way, shape, or fashion, then yeah, it makes sense to vote Democrat down ballot to show your protest vote. But I'm sorry, I'm old school, fam. Nothing says I'm fucking done with you than saying I'm fucking done with you. Like, nothing says canceled like not being there. You don't tell me for months and months on end to give fire, shade, and smoke to these Democratic pretenders who are sitting here begging for our fucking votes. And that's really all they're doing is begging because they ain't offering us shit. And then tell us, okay, well, they're not offering us nothing, but we're going to still give them a chance. So down ballot Democrat. Not me. First of all, fam, I've never voted Democrat. Never. Now, I have never voted Republican at the top of the ticket. I've never voted Democrat. So why the hell would it appeal to Democratic down ballot voting appeal to me? Ever since I've been able to vote, I realized that the Democrats ain't for shit. I've never supported a one. I was one of the few black people I knew that did not vote for Barack Obama, neither in 2008 nor in 2012. I'm one of the few black people that I know that did not vote for him. You can say many things about Mark Black, but you can't say I helped put Barack Obama's punk ass in the office. That wasn't me. In 2012, I voted green. In 2016, I voted green. Hell, had I been able to vote at the time, I would have voted for the Reform Party, for Ross Perot. I liked Perot. He never voted for no Republicans and no damn Democrats. So telling me to vote Democratic down ballot is like, what? Please. I'm cool. Look, there's so many problematic issues right now with the Dems, fam, that affect us as the black descendants of American slavery, right? That affect us directly. This open border shit is a no-go. That's an instantaneous no-go. Like, fam, I can't even, right? During the debate, you got 9 candidates on the stage. The moderator asked, how many of you support open borders? Every single one of them raised their hand. Done. I'm good. Canceled. Finish. Fin. Finish. No mas. That one issue alone, family, should be enough to sink most people's candidacy, right? But then on top of it, they sit here and they tell us that we got to vote for all these universal programs when we have seen over and over again that universal programs mean that our people continue to get left behind. So we're supposed to vote for more goodies for Becky, Brad, and Ashley, and Julio, and Juanita, and Lynn, and Han, and all the rest of them, right? We're supposed to vote for more goodies for them motherfuckers with no guarantee that we're going to get anything anywhere ahead, that we're not going to get specifically addressed. Because when we say that we are specifically wanting to be addressed, every Democrat to a one says, nah, y'all got to wait. What did our brother MLK tell us about wait? Wait. The word rings in the ears of every Negro with a piercing familiarity. And the word wait has almost always meant never. Yeah, Midtown, I've seen some of their policies. And I say that if they are as harmful to us as Democratic policies are, then why ain't we working to fight to change those policies? See, everybody tells me that we got to be about the work. We got to be about the work, right? Everybody say, "Oh, you trying to do work avoidance." They tell people no black agenda, no vote is work avoidance. But I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but it's a lot of people who are repping ADOS that are about work avoidance. Dealing with the motherfucking Democrats that you're familiar with is easy, right? Use a speak of their language. Fat lot of good it's doing you. You sit here and talk about that there's all these harmful policies that the Republicans have, but you won't engage with. You won't have any political interaction, engagement with. That's not work avoidance. Because there's political work that can actually be done. There's political work. And actually, look, Serena Harris, who I know has been one of the primary people that's been involved in what the effects of opportunity zones is, spoke at the ADOS conference. And the fact is that, yes, there are more work. There's more work that can be done. But let's see here. I don't hear anybody who's repping ADOS, because I'm not using any of these terms no more. FBA, ADOS. I'm talking about our lineage, but you know what I'm talking about, right? But those people who are partisans of Yvette and Tone won't do the work with the Republicans. They won't engage with a single one of them. So what? The Republicans are just supposed to push out these harmful ass policies and we say nothing? We do nothing? Right? There's an issue with opportunity zones. So instead of us actually doing the real political work of not just analyzing opportunity zones in its current iteration, but finding some way to be able to modify opportunity zones so that it can actually directly benefit us, we won't do that work. But those same people want to throw around accusations of work avoidance. I'm just keeping a full ass buck. How's that not work avoidance? You see a harmful policy coming, right? You see that it's on that train, on that track. And we know that that track is never late. That train is never late. Oh, no, we just gonna hover over here underneath these Democrats, waiting on them to come around. And we're not gonna address the harmful ass policies of the Republicans. And if you think, fam, that sitting there hovering under the Democrats is a strategy, ask yourself this. Why haven't the Democrats then been going hard in the paint against the opportunity zones? Because I guarantee you, if opportunity zones come to pass, it's going to be bipartisan. The overwhelming amount of legislation that passes in this country is fucking bipartisan. So for all the bullshit that y'all talking about, the Republicans pushing opportunity zones as a harmful policy against our tribe, if it gets passed, your beloved Dems play just as much a hand in it as anybody else. Come on, fam. Some of us were born during the day, but it wasn't yesterday. You're sainted Dems. Cory Booker backs opportunity zones. Well, who else? Somebody else put it in the chat. Tom Steyer, or whatever, I believe, supported opportunity zones. Oh, but it's a harmful Republican policy. Those damn bad Republicans. But if Cory Booker had a evolution on his stance and started talking about full board black shit tomorrow, y'all be kissing his ass. I'm not anti-immigrant, fam. I am pro-us. And I do believe immigration hurts us. And we need to put a pause to it. We need a moratorium. We need to figure out what a proper immigration plan looks like. Right now, what we got is a fucking hodgepodge. And nobody enforcing a damn thing. And I don't think that it's Republican or right wing to admit that we have a fucking immigration system that is busted. That does not fucking work. We have enforcement that is willy-nilly, that's scattershot, that's full of holes like Swiss cheese. I got a fucking problem with that. That doesn't make me a maggot, or right-winger to admit that we got a problem when it comes to immigration and we need to address that shit. It doesn't make me right-wing to be able to elucidate and make clear that both legal as well as illegal immigration under the current economic milieu in the United States has a deleterious and singularly deleterious effect on my tribe's people. That doesn't make me a right-winger to admit that. And the more that people try to shame me into accepting immigration and open borders and all this other bullshit, the more strident I'm going to become against it. I don't have a problem with immigrants. What I want is a sensible, reasonable immigration policy that takes into account the effects that it has on American citizens first, not them. Us. That is not right wing to demand that. That's being an American citizen. That's caring about your nation, your country. That's not being white as a black person to espouse that view. I'm sick of people trying to shame us into being something we ain't. I'm sick of riding on the goddamn Democrat crazy train for every little pet fucking project that we supposed to accept, every little social experiment and trigger words and safe spaces and all that other bullshit. I don't care about none of that. I don't give a fuck if white people like me or not. I don't care if they want to live around me or not. What I care about is equity. I want my share of ownership in a country that I've helped build, that I've helped defend, that my ancestors helped build and helped defend. And then after that, you can keep your damn social experiments to your fucking self. Give us equity and then get the fuck out of our way. We're done being dictated to by both Democrats and Republicans. We don't need no daddies. We don't need more paternalism. What we need is our share of the pie so that we don't have to depend on the goodwill of our fellow citizens, or we don't have to depend on the winds of change from administration to administration. Republicans tell us they want a small government. Here's how you get a small government, Republicans. Make us whole. Because traditionally, unfortunately, your fellow black citizens have had to depend on this government to protect us from private citizens. So give us the means to be able to develop our own capabilities, our own defense. You don't want us shopping and eating at Whole Foods or Old Navy or living in your neighborhoods? Fine. We didn't give a fuck about access to y'all anyway. What we want is the capability to build our own Old Navies and our own Whole Foods. Y'all want to live in y'all's own communities and narrow the twain shall meet? Cool, I don't got no problem with that. You want to do business and not cater to gay people? I don't have a fucking problem with that. What I want is the capability to be able to do for my own. Then we can have all the small government you want. But you're not going to strangle the government and strangle me too? See, the fact is, fam, is that the Republicans got shit that we want. And we got something that they could use. We got a ballot. We got votes. So, you want to vote Democratic down ballot? That's fine. I'm not going to sit here and jump at you. I'm not there. I'm not that guy. Vote your way. Do your thing. But I will not buy into a false dichotomy that somehow or another, in spite of all the disrespect, the denigration, the maddening, irritating ignorance of Democrats, that we don't have other options. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that, because that lies in the face of all the evidence otherwise. Monty said Republicans only want small government because they know that's the only thing that will stop them to take from taking the country back to Jim Crow. Not so. Not all of them. Sure, you got the Dixiecrats that are like that, the states' rights Dixiecrats. Like, we're not sitting here, I'm not sitting here saying that you ain't got problematic ass Republicans. We know that the motherfuckers that used to be a part of the Democratic Party, that was the vowed, dyed-in-the-wool racists, the damn racist bigots, they all went to the Republican Party. We know that. But are they the ones that predominate there? We know they got religious nut jobs and shit in the Republican Party, but are they the ones that predominate, or are they just loud? Like, fam, we need to get our big people draws on. You know what I'm saying? We need to put up our grown-up draws. Are we so scared of Dixiecrats that we've been dealing with since we been here? Fuck them. Because we never engage with the Republican Party, because we never engage with the conservatives. We don't even know how much representation those bastards actually have. And you're right, Durable says small government equals nothing for blacks. Small government at this current milieu doesn't work for us. And that's something that we could have a discussion with the Republicans about. They claim that they want a small government. Well, if they get a small government, that means nothing good for us. So the only way that they're going to get one and have justice and peace and equity in this country is to do right by us, to pay the debt that's due. Then we can work with them together to get the government out of our business. I don't know no black people that are in love with government so much, but if government's been the only thing that's even tried to halfway ass protect yourself, well, of course you're going to try to protect it. See, but this is what I'm talking about, fam. We can actually have a conversation with them. We need our due taken care of so that we can move forward. However we move forward as a nation, we can only do it together once you take care of the debt that's owed to the descendants of American slaves. It's as simple as that. Until you take care of the black descendants of United States slavery, nothing can be fixed. Nothing can be fixed. And the Democrats need to know that, and the Republicans need to know that, and the socialists need to know that, and the Greens need to know that, and the Libertarians need to know that. Do I need to go on? Do I need to go on? Everybody in this country needs to know that until you do right by us, America's fucked. That's it. That's the message. That's the message, fam. Whether you're interacting with Democrats, whether you're interacting with Republicans or whoever, that's the message. That's the conversation. Until you do right by us, until the debt is paid, America will never be. I saw a study recently that said that if America paid reparations to the black descendants of United States slavery today, that the GDP of the nation would increase by $1.5 trillion per annum, period. That would be instantaneous increase in the GDP. So it's good economic sense. take care of us, to go ahead and pay the debt. Not to mention the fact that a proper reparation schema would also account for history, which would allow us to be able to reduce the intra-racial hostility between our groups. Just us having actually being able to interact with each other peaceably without the innate hostility, without the innate distrust, and so on and so forth. You feel me? That right there has economic and social benefits far beyond anything anybody could possibly imagine. That right there is a good reason why that's why this debt needs to be paid. America's never going to be what it could be until it does what it do for the black period, full stop. I don't give a fuck what party you continue to cleave. If you do ultimately decide to give a look at Republicans, all of what I'm telling you holds just as much as it does for the Democrats. Period. Kamala's campaign right there should be a signpost on the road for these idiot Dems. Too bad it won't be. Do what needs to be done for us. Then if you want small government, we can make it happen. We ain't really keen on having the government. We're not really keen on that. We're not really keen on that. So yeah, do right by us. Then you have nothing to worry about. This country will grow by leaps and bounds. The end to racial animosity and set asides. They talk about black people getting privilege. One time, pay the debt. And we don't have to worry about affirmative action and all that bullshit no more. We don't have to worry about racial set-asides and shit. That's facts. They got to make sure that this gets done. The Republicans or the Democrats, I don't care. But somebody's going to have to pony up. Somebody's going to have to speak. Speak with us. Not to us, not at us. They're going to have to speak with us. Right? The Republicans do have a shot. I'm sorry to tell all you Dem lovers out there, but the Republicans do have a shot with us. They sure do. Donald Trump actually has a shot of getting more support for black people than he did in 2016. He surely does. But the time is short. And we're going to have to hear a lot more than pandering. That's just facts. Fam, go ahead. The line's open. 425-296-1980. You can talk about Kamala finally going the way of the dinosaur. Let me try to make an adjustment here, fam. Hold on a second. Is that better? Let me know if that's better. I'm going to make sure that everything is all cool here. Give me a sec. Yep. By the way, pop a one in the chat just to let me know if the sound is right. If it's still stuttering or whatever, let me know. I just had to make some adjustments to the volume. I have a filter that cuts off so you don't hear a bunch of background noise in the background, right? But it might cut off if I get too quiet. Unsunken one says 2. I didn't say 2, but I'm assuming you okay, good. It sounds good. All right, thank you, fam. 425-296-1980 is the number. I want to hear what y'all think about Kamala's siren song, or about the fact that it seems that Democrats are freaking out because people are talking to black people that are from the other side, or whatever you want to talk about. Calling from 510, it's your man Mark Black. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's on your mind?
Hey, Brother Mark, it's Pretty Muslima.
Hey,
how are
sister,
you?
Sister, talk to us. The floor is yours. What's good?
Thanks. So first off, me and the cool man been in the chat talking about voting for Donald Trump for 2020 just because we know he's anti-doctor. And so I just want to remind the family, I don't know if you guys know or not, but a few years ago, Tone and Yvette did a video, like right after Donald Trump got elected, and they were very pissed that the Congressional Black Caucus did not want to talk to Donald Trump. And so now, fast forward to now, they're saying, well, we can't get reparations from Trump. We're not talking to him at all. It's like they're not even trying. I'm so surprised because they were really upset with them. And so that makes question marks rise up for me. 3 years ago, it was a problem, but now that you're actually in a position to do some talking, to do some negotiation or whatnot, you're not even trying. You're saying, no, all roads that lead to anything, like it's only one road, Democrat road only.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, sister. I've been following them. I've been following Yvette, like I said, we was with boys, right? And I started following Tone, I think, in 2016. So I've been following them for a minute, right? And what was interesting to me is that part of the reason why we've been going so hard on the CBC is because of their lack of advocacy, the lack of them actually speaking up in our interests, right? But I've heard rumors. Now, again, I can't confirm this. And so I'm even loath to speak on it, to be quite honest, because I've already been confused of being a partisan troublemaker and a secret, supporter of everybody else and their mama, right? Instead of just being who I am, which is an angry black sheep who loves his people. But with that being said, I've heard rumors that Yvette and or Tone have already met with some CBC members in DC, right? Now, I don't know if that's true, but I've heard it from a couple of different sources, right? And I'm not throwing it out there. I don't even, like I said, I don't even want to give it credence as a rumor. I've heard it, right? I don't know if it's true or not. But if that meeting has occurred between Yvette and Tone and some members of the CBC, what was that about? I do know that there was a meeting with Karen Bass, right? But that was actually organized by the chapters. You feel me? So we were all familiar with that. You feel me? So yeah, that was what it was. No, I'm talking about a different meeting of some sort that wasn't organized by the chapter, right? Just saying. So, but no, the thing that really upsets me is that we try to come up with all these reasons to not talk with the Republicans. But we don't keep that same energy when it comes to dealing with the Democrats. Like, to me, it's not making sense, right? We're supposed to be somehow or another trying to reform or wait on the Democrats to do something. Because at this point, I don't even know what we're supposed to be waiting on them for. I thought this whole thing was about our justice claim. And if this is about our justice claim, then we should be open to do business with any and everybody politically that will get movement and traction on getting this debt paid. You feel me? Right? So, like, I don't understand then why we should even be overly concerned about people saying, oh, well, y'all MAGA. Some of us do support Donald Trump. Some of us share our lineage and our heritage that support Donald Trump. And I get tired of people trying to tell these people that they're voting for Trump out of spite. No, perhaps they see Trump as possibly being somebody in our interest. Like, how is it that we expect everybody to steel man our arguments, right? So when ADOS made the arguments that they made, right? When Yvette and Tone make the arguments they made, they want us to be intellectually honest and rigorous about their arguments and steel man. That's a term that means that when we represent their arguments, that we actually represent their arguments and reinforce them, right? Not straw man, make their arguments weaker. Yet y'all go around straw man in every fucking body, and it's supposed to be cool. Like black people can't look at Donald Trump and some of the ideas that he espoused and so on and so forth and actually see that he might actually be to their interest or to our collective interest, right? Y'all can have the debate about whether or not that's the case, right, sis? But
Right.
what you can't do is pretend that he's not saying anything. You agree, sister?
I agree. He's always giving the wink and the nod lately, anyway. So I don't understand why we're not answering the call. Personally, I think that waiting on the Democrats is kind of idiotic. I'm sorry. I don't know another way to put it. I'm not trying to be
I'm with you,
disrespectful.
sister. It's dumb as fuck. You being nice. I'm not. I'm not waiting for the Democrats for shit. It is stupidity at this point to think that the Democrats are going to do anything more than what they've done over the last 56 years.
And so what Tony Event like to say is, oh well, reparations is a progressive policy. No, reparations is a debt. Let's get it right. Let's get it correct. And anyways, this country does what the hell they want to do, whether it's a Republican or Democrat. Let's talk about George Bush, who went to war without going through Congress. How about that? They do what they want to do. So if Donald Trump wants to do reparations, guess what? He will do reparations.
Let me tell
It
you
is
something.
a
Nobody was
it is
able to
a
tell
debt.
Donald Trump not to do something for Asian and Pacific Islanders. Executive Order 13872 was put in place to ensure that they got access to funding, loans, low interest loans, resources, training for entrepreneurship. He did that. He didn't wait for Congress to do it. And you notice Congress ain't had a mumping word to say about that executive order. They ain't said shit. They haven't said nothing. They haven't
And
said, "Oh, Trump's overreaching. He's overreaching his bounds of executive power." They ain't had shit to say about
Donald Trump does not believe in us trying to police the damn world. Okay, that's money that we could be using towards reparations. And he wants the companies to come back to the U.S. I'm just saying, I don't know how successful it has been, but that matters.
it. No, I
That's
think it
why it doesn't
absolutely
shortage the
matters
jobs
because
already.
if you look right after civil rights, right after the civil rights push by LBJ and company, right? Shortly after that, in the 70s, we watched the beginning of offshoring and outsourcing of our jobs that were traditionally the entree of black people into the middle class, such as it was for us, just disappeared. Remember back in the day when our parents was younger, right? Our daddies may not have graduated from college or whatever. They might be high school, because first of all, even back in our parents' day, education was important, right? You couldn't
Yeah,
just drop out of school back when our parents was young. Nobody would tolerate that shit. Now
that's
they
true.
may have just graduated you ahead and you might have been, deficient in some educational areas, but at the very least, the average brother back in the day had a high school diploma, right? So even if you didn't go to college, there were certain jobs in manufacturing and things like that that you could get. You could start off in a low skill, low wage manufacturing job, and from there work your way up into a place um of supervisory, of management, of getting
Hmm.
additional training, and so on and so forth, so
Hmm.
that you could build a career. But those jobs all got offshore to Malaysia, to Taiwan, to all these other places, and so on and so forth. You dig? Right? So any president that says that they want to bring jobs back here, you have to at least listen. That's not saying, like Jacqueline said, that may be a horse that's just out the gate, that's just not coming back. Globalization far advanced. That's a possibility, right? But I say that if we're not even engaging the debate, we can't go one way or the other one. You feel me?
I do. And Moni Love, she remembers that event just to say we need to talk to Trump. I'm glad that somebody else remembers because I just find it so hard to grasp the idea that they are not even considering, like not even considering speaking with him. I think that's problematic.
I think it's
Seriously. Well,
absolutely problematic, and not to mention the fact that for me, there seems to be this issue with this short institutional memory of ADOS partisans, right? Because they quick to tell everybody that if you don't understand the current strats or if you don't agree with, the current political pushes and aims of ADOS, the political hashtag ADOS, the political movement, right? That you don't know enough, that you need to go study and you need to go and look back at all the 3 years of archives to figure everything out. Well, when you go back and look in those archives, you see stuff like Yvette at one time saying that we need to have a conversation with Donald Trump. So what are you supposed to do about that? So is that not true now? And if not, what's changed to make that not true now?
On more than one occasion, may I add, on more than one occasion, several times, several. And so I don't know. My whole thing with the speculation of them meeting with the Dems, I'm just saying it kind of looked like that. And I don't know if they did, and if they did, if there was some type of promise. I'm not sure. All I know is the whole thing. We can only
conjecture. And that's another thing. For a movement that tells us that we're supposed to be grounded in the data, there's a whole lot of data that we don't seem to have access to that could answer a lot of motherfucking questions. And it seems like that if you ask these questions, what you get is a combination of the beehive swarming down on you, telling you that you're an agent of chaos, that you're only trying to foment division and shit, or you get, for lack of a better way to say it, nigga babble. And I'm sorry, but if you respect me, I don't want to hear nigga babble. If I ask a clear question, all I want is a clear answer.
Tony, you do not have the sophistication for the White House. That's funny. AOS boots on the ground. I'm not calling and asking Yvette. Maybe you can. I have no interest in really calling to say anything. I've seen, the old videos, and I don't know what you're talking about. So maybe you can specify the calling and asking what.
I'm gonna let you fall back and go ahead and do your thing in the chat, because I know how you do what you do, and I know there's some things you want to address. But I'm simply just gonna say this. I'm with you at this point. I love Yvette, and I made that clear. I have nothing but respect and esteem for her. But at this particular point, I don't feel that me continuing to call into her broadcast and this, that, and the third is necessarily going to further the conversation. The reason why we're having to have this conversation here, ADOS Boots on the Ground, is because we cannot have that conversation there. There have been people who have asked that question or who have asked questions, and what they've experienced is nigga babble or nigga splaining, blocking, right, and told that they don't know enough and to study harder, right? I don't think I need to continue to beat a dead horse. If that's not a conversation that either Yvette and Tone are willing to have, I don't feel like it's my place to force that conversation on them. All I can do is create a space, create an environment where those questions can be asked and we can work together to discover the answers. All right? So I hope you take that in the spirit in which I meant it.
Thank you, Brother Moore, for creating this space for people like me, the cool man, and all the other chat that I meet up with on Wednesday and Saturday evening. Thank you.
My pleasure, sister. Always,
because
always
it's not
honor.
like this in other spaces. I really appreciate it. I appreciate being able to call in. I appreciate being able to express myself in your chat without being blocked, or without being muted. I love it.
I'm glad, and I'm glad.
I'm not calling in Yvette for nothing.
It's my honor to create that space for y'all, for us, I should say. I want us to have that place. Sister, I'm going to go ahead and take the next call. I love you. Peace.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Calling from 424. It's your man, Mark Black. What's your name, where you're calling from, and what's on your mind?
Good afternoon, Mark. This is Adrian.
Adrian, pleasure to hear from you, sister. I'm glad you called in. Thank you so much for taking your time to talk with us today, sister. The floor is yours. What's on your mind?
Good afternoon, everybody in the chat. Pretty much believer, I love watching you in the chat. I'm a conservative, and I'm open-minded enough. Pretty much, Muslims are pretty progressive, and we're open-minded enough to work with anybody.
Right.
We don't force ourselves on anybody. So when I stumbled upon your your channel.
Hmm?
I said, he is what um I am. Don't let the hijab fool you. I'll get out there and scrap with the best of
Oh,
them.
you ain't got to tell me, sister. I know. I know my Muslim brothers and sisters. Y'all ain't no jokes.
So I'm willing to work for my people with anybody. So I'm looking at the chat and people saying Republicans are this and that. If Trump will give me my reparations for my grandbabies and my great grand, I don't care. I work with him. If he's pandering, we hold him to the same um, standards as we do these Dems.
Thank you.
Now, I voted Democratic,
Hmm?
so I'm not open. I'm open-minded enough to work with anybody.
Yep.
Simple.
I hear you, sister. You know what amazes me is that we have consistently seen since the advent of ADOS's push, right, during this Democratic primary, right, we have we have seen consistently brothers and sisters, tribes people who share our lineage, but who are right wing or conservative, who jumped right on board. I'm talking about immediately jumped on board this thing. They said, damn, what you talking about? Yes, I'm conservative. Yes, I'm right wing. But justice is justice. And this is what is needed for us and our people who have embraced it right from the beginning. You feel me? But here's the thing. I watched too, as well, as over time, those people's motives were questioned, those people's characters were maligned, and ultimately they were simply ran out of the conversation. And I said to myself, are you kidding me? These people not only embraced the name or claimed the name, right? That was the tagline of the ADOS conference, claim the name. They have claimed the name. You feel me? And they jumped up and they said, this is us and we are for us. And
Yes.
regardless of where we stand on the political spectrum, we can all work to the same goal of getting the debt paid, of justice that was due to our ancestors as well as to us. You feel me? Right? But I watched them be castigated. I watched them be disrespected. I've seen people that jumped up and saw this thing that created applications to try to get people together that were told that their apps are just another form of trying to be like agents for the state and this, that, and the third. I saw people that wanted to represent our lineage with t-shirts jump up and offer to sell t-shirts. Tone pops up a tweet saying, we got t-shirts coming out next week. You don't have to sell t-shirts no more, right? And the people were asking for this stuff. We were so ho hog. We were so on board with our lineage and our heritage and finally feeling a sense of pride and looking for ways to tie that not just politically, but economically and socially and the whole 9 yards. And I watch as each of those elements get compressed and squished and squelched to essentially nothing. And you have to start asking some really fucking tough questions when you see that what should be at this point the most inclusive thing that we as the descendants of enslaved ancestors in America have ever seen, how it's become talk of putting gates up and you don't know enough and all this other elitist, combative, disrespectful rhetoric. I've seen people that refuse to acknowledge the people that came before that put this conversation out there into the public sphere, people like Dr. Claude Anderson and others, right? I mean, I sat there and watched Yvette's evisceration of the man with a heavy heart, but I didn't have the words how to describe what I was feeling. I just had a sense of wrongness. And what I realized was that It was a failure to acknowledge the fact that although this current push is due to our efforts, that we stand on the shoulders of giants. There were people that came before us who worked their asses off, who did their whole life's work to make our justice claim their aim, their goal. Can we debate about whether or not certain stratagems and tactics are valid today as opposed to yesterday? Yes, we can. Right? So there's nothing wrong with analyzing the brother's work and seeing what we can take from it for today and what we might have to leave behind. But to simply sit there and completely shit on the man's legacy and so on and so forth, I think there's a lot of hard questions that I believe should be asked. And since it appears, sister, and I'm certain you agree with me, since it appears that we cannot ask forum where they should be an legitimate, not rancor, right? Not dismissal, not nigga splain, but actual legitimate treatment of our questions as valid questions, right? Then we should have a place where we can ask those questions. And I think that this, I'm honored to say that this is a place for it.
Well, some people teach, some people plant. I like your platform because you teach. Everybody's not on the same level. I just learned what down ballot meant because that's what when I asked the question, somebody answered it for me. So sometimes when I listen to Yvette and Tone, the elitist part of them come out.
Yes.
I just listen because I'm on board no matter what. I want, you owe me money, United States.
That's right.
And give it to me. I may never see it, but my grandbaby might see it.
That's right.
So I'm out there to fight. I'm out there. Damn the Republican, conservative, independent. I'm out there with my people, and I want my voice to be heard.
Sister,
Simple.
this battlefield, I say this all the time, this battlefield in which we face is so broad that there is literally room for every one of us, of every persuasion, of every type of blackness that is our unique blackness to get in where they fit in. It really truly is. Like all of this, everybody's talking about division and we're creating strife and this, that, and the third. The only way we would be creating division and strife is if you only think that there's one way to reach the goal that's the stated aim of everybody who embraces our lineage and our heritage. I thought that the goal, the end goal, was about getting the debt paid, about getting the justice claim honored, right? I don't give a damn if we have to deal with Republicans to do that. I don't care if we have to deal with Democrats to do that. I don't care if we have to deal with Goldman Sachs to make that happen. I don't care if we got to deal with the Fed to make that happen. I don't care if we can make it happen through SCOTUS. I don't care who the hell we have to interact with to make that happen.
Mark, the only difference between Republicans and Dems is the Republicans will say it to your face. The Dems get behind in those meetings, and they're saying, we're not going to give them nothing.
Oh, sister, we saw it. You remember back during the 2016 presidential election, right, the election cycle, when Black Lives Matter came to the fore, before they got sheepdogged and co-opted into falling back in line with the Democrats, right? They actually issued a memo. The DNC actually issued a memo to Democratic presidential candidates telling them how to interact with Black Lives Matter, right? And the thing that they emphasized in that memo is that whatever you do, don't promise them any specifics. Like the Democrats told us, even back in 2016, don't promise to do anything for the niggas. But here we are on the advent of the 2020 election, and we're still waiting on them to somehow reform themselves. They saw how they got diminished in the 2018 midterms, how that same energy that we kept for 2 election cycles with Barack Obama, and it made sure this and the third, they saw us fall back and go, wait a minute, this is looking kind of suspect. But they still haven't twigged. They still haven't gotten the goddamn message. And the thing is, sister, is that at the end of the day, what are we going to do? Are we going to sit here? Are we going to sit here and wait on them to figure it out? To pretend to get the message, to come back, like an abusive spouse talking about, baby, you know I was wrong, and holding a bouquet of flowers and a motherfucking gift certificate to Red Lobster, and sweet talking us and shit? Or are we gonna say, nope, I'm done with you. There's other options. I can go live my best life somewhere else.
I'm gonna take my ball and go home.
Facts. I couldn't agree more. I'm not telling us to go vote for Republicans. I'm not. You haven't once heard me say Brexit. But what I'm saying is let's stop pretending that we don't have other options. We cannot allow people through their rhetoric to set us up with fallacious false dichotomies that do not reflect the reality of the political system on the ground. If the Republicans haven't traditionally reached out to us, we haven't necessarily been working overtime to encourage the Republicans to reach out to us, right? So there is that piece, right? We haven't been, beating down the Republicans' door talking about what about us, what about us, what about us, right? So it's easy for us to say, oh, well, the Democrats ain't talking about us. Well, facts, truth be told, we ain't been talking about them either, right? You said, or the Republicans. I'm sorry, you know what I mean, right? So
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's fallacious, right? The logic doesn't hold that we don't have other political options to press home this justice claim. If we are as politically savvy as we say that we've become, right, then political savvy tells us that we act in the two-party system. ADOS, or Black Descendants of American Slavery, or whatever you call us, right, can act as a pincer movement, right? In wartime, in maneuvering on a battlefield, a pincer movement is where you take 2 separate units and flank your opponents, and then meet in the middle to the destruction of your opponents. You see what I'm saying, right? Like, at the end of the day, if we're so savvy, then we have to understand that there's a multitude of directions from which we can approach this thing that all still works out to our benefit.
Mark, let me get off so I can let somebody else.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk.
Well, hey, it's again, I'm glad to have you as a member of the Angry Black Sheep. Do not hesitate to call in. You are very welcome.
Salam, family.
Salam, sister. All right, great call from the sister here. Let's see, caller from 703. It's your man Mark Black. What's your name? Where you calling from, and what's on your mind?
Yes, good evening, brother.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, caller. That was on me. Please give us a call back, okay? Sorry, that one was on me. I hung up by accident. Don't think though that I don't want to hear from you. You're very welcome, Durable. Yes. We have to be strategic. Like, we talk about political savvy. When are we gonna start showing it? Caller from 909, it's your man Mark Black. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's on your mind?
Checking in, family. Good show. Good show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hey, this is y'all. Y'all asking the questions. Y'all are doing the talking. So if this is a great broadcast, it's you that's making it great, fam. The floor is yours. What's on your mind?
I wanted to really chime in about diplomacy and strategy. As far as that tone.
Brother, I'm sorry, you're a little muffled. I don't know if you're using a speaker or whatever, right? But if you are, can you get on the handset so we can get some clarity? Because we definitely want to hear what you're saying.
Okay.
That's much
better.
So
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear
Yes,
me a little
sir.
bit better?
That is absolutely clear. Thank you so much for that. Please go on.
Okay, so as far as diplomacy and strategy, just general leadership, Yvette and Tone's type of, I guess, interaction with, Charlemagne, just the mainstream media in general, just seems to be agitative. It seems to just kind of, let me try to get underneath their skin or try, you know what I mean? It doesn't really seem like it's like trying to really progress the issue of Adolf's FBA, as as I like to say. So,
Yeah.
what would you say to that as far as just trying to, interact with Charlemagne and these other people, because they have large platforms, and it doesn't make sense for you just to be, hostile for no reason. We're not really achieving anything. You know what I mean?
Brother, say your name so that people know who's on the call, because they ask, and then I didn't catch it either.
The stakes is high. I'm from California.
Oh, okay, yeah, fam. Thank you very much. That's a great question, fam. Now, if you want, you can fall back, and I'll go ahead and answer the question, or if you'd like to stay on.
Yeah. I wanted your take on it. And as far as leadership goes, do you think we should have more of a trying to just get the word out there and interact with, mainstream media, or we should just be automatically hostile towards them? I'm going to fall back and let you answer.
Got you. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that's a great question. Great question. So, fam, the brother's question is that in the idea of leadership and our interactions with the media at large, right? How should we engage with that media? Should we be, flashing and hostile, fire, shade, and smoke? Or should we be looking to access as many media platforms as we can? I think the question kind of answers itself in a sense, right? Even if you don't like Charlemagne, right, Angela Yee and DJ Envy, the fact is that regardless of who currently funds their platform, they have a platform. Fam, I'll take a call after I answer the brother's question. I thank y'all for y'all's patience, right? So if you get an opportunity to go on these platforms, right, I think that it is key to stay on message and to challenge ideas, but not individuals, right? And I'll explain what I mean. I have no personal animus towards Leonard, also known as Charlemagne the God, right? I have no personal animus toward him. From what I know about him, him and I don't agree on much. But with that having been said, can I have a conversation with Charlemagne? Yes, I can, right? And I don't have to tell Charlemagne that he's a fucking idiot, right? I can feed Charlemagne data. I can feed Charlemagne facts and information that essentially acts as a rope that allows Charlemagne to hang himself by his own arguments, right? If the data is on my side, right? So in other words, if we have properly grounded ourselves in this advocacy, right? And we understand the data and truly what it means, we've got a solid analysis that is supported by that data, then there really truly is no need for any personal attacks on Charlemagne or anybody else, right? Like, for example, Bree Newsom Bass brought up ADOS, and what did? We spent weeks giving her relevancy when all we had to do was just simply stick with the data, right? If Bree Newsom Bass and her little diatribes meant anything to anybody, then all of the data in the world that we marshal wouldn't change anything. But if it doesn't have any validity in the eyes of the information that we have available, then she can talk all she wants. See, that's the thing, right? I've been watching this whole thing about sassy black Twitter and blue checks and all this and that and the third, and I keep thinking to myself, what is the point, right? Callers, I'm gonna take a call here shortly, I promise. Let me finish up this answer here, and then I will take a call. I keep seeing these attacks on people's persons, right? On people's personalities and their characters and so on and so forth. And I'll admit, it's fun, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing or whatever the case may be. But what I can say is that I have never seen a case in which we've dropped off into people's mentions with a blast that they then change their position. That they say, you know what? Wow, I had no clue. I want to thank you, all of you ADOS people who brought me this, who brought me that. You know what? From now on, I'm on board. I've not seen it once. Not seen it once. I haven't seen it with, what's her name? Brown, Yvette Nicole Brown. I haven't seen it with Bree Newsom Bass. I haven't seen it with any of them. I haven't seen it with Jason Johnson. I haven't seen it with any of them. We consistently go into their mentions, dropping this gem, dropping that jewel, and guess what? Next week they say something stupid. We go at Malcolm Nance like nobody's business, and guess what? He's still going on Fox or on MSNBC, still saying the same stuff and the whole 9 yards. The fact is that there's an old saying, fam, that a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. If the data is not enough to convince these blue checks and these media personalities and so on and so forth, then all of your blasting their mentions and shit with different things is not going to change anything. Either the data is strong enough to stand on its own or it's not. And we can't sit here and claim to have the data on our side, right? And then sit here and try to act like proselytes. You're not going to convert anybody. Our lineage is the weapon, right? The data is the weapon. Weaponize that information. Weaponize your analysis. But see, fam, unfortunately, that requires a lot more work than some people are willing to put out. It's just easy to have someone else do the analysis for you and give you marching orders. But real political savvy and real political advocacy requires that you understand this data. Look, fam, until we get to a point that even a janitor, a guy who pushes a broom and a dust mop every day, when asked, can step up with advocacy for our justice claim, until we get to that point, we're not doing the job we need to be doing. That's a fact. That's a fact. For all the shade, fire, and smoke, and this, that, and the third that we can deliver on a humbug and through people's mentions, on their timeline, on their Twitter feeds, on their Instagram feeds, and so on and so forth, for all of that, until that janitor is empowered enough to be just as strong an advocate for your justice claim as you are, you fucked up. You're not there. You're not where you think you actually are. But see, that requires a shift in mentality, fam. That requires a shift in thinking of this as more than just inspiration. You know, I really love to quote Dr. Khalid Muhammad, may he rest, one of our great warrior scholars, who said that I am first and foremost an educator, but my people are a passionate people. My people are a rich people. And so when required, I also deliver inspiration. I watched this man get on national TV and skewer Jesse Jackson and said, but you know what though? Jesse is my brother. And I cannot wait for Jesse to come home. That's what I'm talking about. We can deliver all the fire, shade, and smoke we want. But many of these people that we're attacking, we can use. I can't speak for you, but I surely could use a Bree Newsom Bass. Sure, right now she's catering for butter biscuits and so on in the love of white liberals. But like all things under white supremacy, eventually they break their tools. They abuse their pets. I would love it if she had a home to come back to that fire that she can bring. She obviously understands the spoken word like no other, and she shares my lineage. What a great weapon we could have if we were able to get that woman to see things from our point of view. But at this point, have we alienated her beyond any point of reconciliation? I don't know. I would love to have Leonard, aka Charlemagne the God, on my team. With his passion and his ability to reach young folk. But with all the disrespect and shit that we've showed the man, the constant maligning of his character, the constant disrespect of his personality and this, that, and the third, have we alienated the man beyond any possible reconciliation? Let's keep it a full-ass buck. Sister Yvette did an amazing broadcast talking about Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas, when he was a young man, was a lover of his people. But how much disrespect and denigration of his hard work and efforts, the refusal to acknowledge the man's obvious intellect, his erudition, hard work he put in. How many of us alienated the man to the point where he's just like, fuck them niggas? This is not to excuse what he's done or to excuse what these people have done. But the fact is that but for the grace of whatever you hold holy, there go you. If we worked as a people to outcast you, to alienate you, to shit on your character, to shit on your name, why should you do anything for us? Why should you give a fig about what happens to us? At some point, we have to stop with the alienation. We can sit here and talk about immigration and so on and so forth, and we should. But we have people who are possible allies out there, who are of immigrant status, who are first and second generation immigrants, that they're here. They went through the proper process, such as it is, to become citizens or at least naturalized here. It costs us nothing to be compassionate, to be conciliatory, to reach out. This is not to say be suckers. We do being mules for people. We do being suckers for people. But it costs us nothing to present a little honey at the table and say, hey, I got some honey over here. You want to sit down and have a eat? By the way, let's have a quick conversation. It costs us nothing and has the potential to gain us everything. Let me ask you a mathematical question. If we make up 13% approximately of the population of the United States of America, and we were somehow able to get just 20% of Latino or Hispanic people, which make up about 16% of the population, right? And we were able to get all of our diasporan continental brothers and sisters to be on board. And we were able to just peel away 10% of the remaining white populace in the United States of America. And all of them were speaking with the same voice for our justice claim. How long do you think this government could stand the pressure from just that little bit of numbers, right? If you have 50 million Americans against anything, this government has to listen. This government has to listen. Again, it requires a mind state, a shift in your mind. One of the things that I love reading about in the Bible, fam, is the demand that we be renewed, that we be bettered by the renewing of our minds. There's a lot of pathologies and poisons that we've dragged kicking and screaming off the plantation in many areas of human activity. And we need to find a way to start healing those things so that we're capable of effective strategizing, effective organizing, effective so on and so forth. But as it stands right now, fam, all of the things that we are seeing are getting us literally nowhere. I'm sorry to come out and say it, but ADOS has taken a lot of credit for things that they play at best a minimal role in at this particular point. It didn't take a rocket scientist to predict that Kamala Harris would at some point be out of the running. She actually canceled her own damn self, even amongst people who haven't claimed the name, who aren't adherents to the hashtag ADOS political philosophy. So to take credit for that means what? Thank you for your patience, caller from 707. It's your man, Mark Black. What's your name, where you're calling from, and what's on your mind?
This is Kizzy from the Bay Area.
Kizzy, my beloved sister, how you be?
I'm good. I am good. And I see you doing your thing, and I appreciate it, because when I couldn't grasp a hold of what Yvette was talking about, or kind of how she was coming about things, kind of downing or being demeaning, that's how I feel. I could come to you. And, you know, and it's really personal to me, because when I came across Yvette and Tone, I was like, man, I knew something was wrong. This is my tribe. They're talking about what I've been thinking this whole time. I found my people.
Yes.
This makes all the sense in the world. But I could see little things happening. And I remember DMing you and saying, I'm trying to grasp everything. You know, I'm trying to learn, because I was seeing some of these things start to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted you to know, like, I'm still trying. I still wanted, you to understand that I might not, have the words, or, can speak in, all, educated.
It's all good,
but
sister. Shit, this your home too. You speak how you speak.
Right. But see, that's what I'm saying. When I would listen to Yvette, it would make me feel bad. So either way, I just noticed some things, and, I had to even just kind of fall back off of Twitter, because I'm just like, and just like you were saying, all the things that were going on in Twitter, we pushing all these people back, it just wasn't no good. But I just wanted to ask you, if you recall, so many months ago, it was starting to be like a few callers that would call into Yvette and would be asking, like, Yvette, what do you plan on doing with the money, that we're donating to our political party, ADOS?
Mm-hmm.
And she was just shutting that down. And so I'm like, well, aren't we trying to be like a political party? You know what I'm saying? So, isn't that why we're giving you money? So we can bring this money together and, maybe, give it to somebody who will represent us.
Now, Kissy, before you continue, right? Because far be it from us to be accused of speaking about the sister behind her back. I can tell you for a certainty that I have never heard her say that the contributions made during her broadcasts and things like that was necessarily for organizing any type of group or anything like that. So I want to be clear about that. The sister has a right to eat. Okay, I don't begrudge us. I've donated to her, right? With the expectation that she would use that to get her some shoes, get some food, right? Whole 9 yards. She has not held out, and I'm telling you, sister, so that we're on the same sheet of music. Yvette or Tone have not held out that the contributions that we give them during their broadcast or donate to Brown or whatever is nothing more than just supporting their work, okay? And I want to be clear about that, because I do not want there to be any ruckus where somebody's saying that we're, accusing her of taking money and just, doing this, that, and the third. She has never
no,
held
no, no,
out
no.
that she's doing that, right? And so I want to make sure that we're clear on that, sister. Right?
No,
I'm saying
not.
I appreciate you bringing it up because that gives me the opportunity to make that patently clear. Now, do I think that they could perhaps use their platforms as a means to start to generate resources in order to push political advocacy? I've long believed they should do that. As a matter of fact, sister, you actually are giving me an opportunity to reiterate something that I've been discussing for a while. So when you're done with your call, I will elaborate on something that actually is germane to what you brought up. Okay? So just
I wasn't saying. What I'm saying is, I feel like the people felt that. That's what
right.
we
No,
felt
I
like.
get where you're coming from. I just wanted to make it clear that has never been anything that they've held out there or said that they were using those funds to do, right? They're eating off of that, okay? And that is what it is, right? It's all good. So, just being clear, you feel me?
Yeah, okay. And that was it, though, because now I want to hear what you have to say since I brought that up.
Okay, sister. Hey, as always, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much for taking the time to call in tonight, and I look forward to hearing from you again. Stay in the chat, all right?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sister.
Bye, everybody.
Peace. So, fam, the sister brought up, should we be collecting funds, right, or generating funds and resources for political advocacy? Now, as you all well know, I have been a strong proponent of the need to institute, to create a legitimate PAC, that's political action committee, that advocates for and represents our political interests specifically, right? Specifically. Do you understand? Not anything on the order of the National Organization of, Advancement of Colored People, which now means everybody except black folk, right? No, we need a PAC for us. Now, I've been in discussion with some people whose opinions I value a great deal, and I have been asked to bring forward the vehicle to allow that to occur. Now, I'm going to express some concerns, and then I'm going to express what it is that I intend to do. My first concern is transparency. We've had too many people that are confused about where money goes, who's getting money, this, that, and the third. I'm not accusing anybody of pocket watching. What I'm saying is, just like the sister who just called, there's confusion about where your donations go and things like that. I have made it clear on this channel that when you contribute to Super Chat or you contribute via Streamlabs or whatever, it's because your brother needs to eat and y'all are supporting my work. With that having been said, however, transparency for me in anything that I get involved with is key. Absolutely key. In other words, when people ask questions, I need to be able to present answers, okay? The second concern that I have is that I have previously, myself, your man Mark Black, organized a registered, legitimate, nonprofit organization for black legal defense, right? To be able to generate funds to help black people who are caught in the clutches of the criminal justice system to get access to lawyers rather than PDs, right? To be able to fund people's attempts at defending themselves and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, I'll type the name in the chat. You will go, if you went to the Secretary of State's website here in Washington State and typed in that name, you would see it's now a defunct organization. and there's a reason why it's defunct. Because I was having discussions with people, and we were talking about the need for something like this. Now, when I hear those things, when your man Mark Black hears that there's a need for something like that, my first go-to is, oh, there's a need for it? Well, it's time for solutions then, right? I don't want to hear what we need. I want to hear what we're doing about what we need. You feel me? Right? So I invested my own money. I did the articles of incorporation because I am a trained paralegal. And I organized the Black Legal Assistance Collective, or BLACK for short. Love the acronym, love my acronyms, you dig? And I announced that I have heralded the creation of the one, the only legal assistance collective dedicated to the legal criminal defense of Black people who lack the resources for criminal defense. I was able and fortunate enough to hook up with a sister, shout out to Jazz, who is a skilled techie head who managed my website for me and organized all the graphics and everything. I paid for a website domain. I had an EIN and did all the tax exemption shit through the IRS, organized as a 501c3 corporation, and so on and so forth, right? Everything was legit and above board. And I promptly watched as nobody contributed really anything to it, right? Many times we will talk about what we need, but when someone presents what we need, the resources needed to sustain it is not necessarily forthcoming. When I think about what a pack organized around our lineage could do, it's amazing. How many of you were amazed when Marianne Williamson had that ad in South Carolina that talked about reparations and justice for us and our ancestors? I know I was. The first ad ever in history that specifically spoke about restitution, about the restoration, the remediation, and the repair of the Black descendants of United States slavery and honoring our ancestors. Absolutely blown away. Absolutely blown away. Now, can you imagine if you had a political action committee that was dedicated to purchasing ad buys like that in SoCal, in DC, in Atlanta, and not just once, not just for a political campaign season, but over and over and over and over again? Can you imagine us having the capability to invite politicians to come and speak before groups of us, present them with an honorarium for their time, thus ensuring that we have consistent access to them whenever we knock on the door? And not just during a political campaign, not just during a time when they're running for office, but every time. That is what a political action committee for us can do. But I have a concern about transparency, about making sure that I can do this and be transparent, and that there is actually real support for it. Can you imagine us sponsoring our own debates? I mean, fam, the opportunities are literally endless once we have a financial and economic vehicle to allow us to be able to make these moves. So with that said, I am announcing that I am working as we speak to save up the funds. You guys are contributing via the super chat. Please keep doing so. I do, fam, I'm not lying. I do eat off of this, right? But with that being said, I am actually going to dedicate and reserve the funds that I don't use for my own personal use, to go ahead and create one more time, I'm going to go ahead and organize a legitimate registered. This means everything above board, all hitting all the I's, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, right? Filing all the paperwork. I am actually going to incorporate a new lineage-based PAC, and it will happen before the end of the first quarter of 2020. I will do it. I will spend my own money and some of y'all's if you decide to contribute to that, right? Via SuperChat or via Streamlabs or via PayPal or whatever. I will go ahead and organize it. Now, there are some things that I need from you, because I'm just gonna keep it a full ass buck, and it's not what you think. Right now, if you want to give money, that's great. Please do. Please continue to do so. But this is what I need from you. I need people to sit on the board. I need people who are willing to be a secretary and keep minutes of board meetings. I need people with ideas. I need, if you're involved in marketing or branding or strategy, I need people who are doing that. If you have legal training, I could use a lawyer. And I ain't got money to give you, so if you're not down for doing this work pro bono while we get started, I can't help you. But if you have legal training, we want to make sure we don't run afoul of campaign finance law. We don't want nobody to go to jail. We want this to be a legitimate vehicle for our people to be able to get what they need to get. You don't have to commit to anything today, but I want you to search your hearts to see what role, what work you could actually do to help with this PAC. The more people that we have that are willing to contribute work, the faster we can get this thing up and running. The faster we can get this thing up and running, the quicker we can hit the ground running and start making political power moves, utilizing the weapons of our lineage, the weapons of our ballots, and then the trifecta, the weapon of our dollars. If you say that you're interested, if you say that this is something that we need to have done, I'm not going to say that you're lying. Where I am is I'm a Missourian. I was born in Missouri. I won't take a salary from this. I'll do my broadcast and people can contribute and not contribute. That's perfectly fine. I don't want a salary. What I want is to be able to do the work. I want to be able to get out there in people's faces. I want to be able to get out there and talk to people across all political spectrums, across all political boundaries. I want, if I'm able to get into the White House and sit there before your president. Black man, premature right now, fam. Right now, all I want to do is just get this thing up and running. What I need is for people to commit their efforts. We don't need no money just yet, right? Because see, fam, I've always been suspicious of people who start talking about numbers, to start talking about dollars, before we start talking about bodies, before we start talking about people. Our brother MLK said we would have had our civil rights and the check cut if we had the numbers. If we actually had the people willing to put their bodies out there and their asses on the line. I'm not talking about us contributing a single penny as of yet. That is for, not even for me to decide. That is for your board to decide. Fam, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this legit, or we're not going to do it at all. That is for your board to decide. That is for the officers of your political action committee to decide in conjunction with you. I look forward to having this thing set up where we have a whole section of the political organization, the committee set aside, where we can do plebiscites, where we can actually hold initiatives among ourselves to organize what our game plan is, who we're going to approach, how we're going to do it. Don't ask me, right? You're going to have a say in what that amount should be every month. What I'm asking for, fam, is those who are willing to be the bodies, those who are willing to stand up and put your expertise on the line. I'll organize the thing. That's in my wheelhouse. The paperwork and stuff like that I can handle. But I can't run this thing by myself. I need accountants. I need people who are willing to make sure that the money is straight. That when people ask questions, we don't have to sit there and be pulling a Umar talking about, well, you know, there was provisos and the man's hold me back and this, that, and the third. No. Then we could just run the paperwork. I need people who are conversing in accounting. I need people who are going to be willing to travel like myself and actually put themselves in front of politicians and actually do active advocacy. We need people who are willing to be teachers that we can maybe provide a stipend to and provide you with materials, printed materials that you can then use to go into classrooms, to go into corporate offices and stuff like that and have talks with people to advocate for one thing, for justice for our people. That's what we need right now. We can talk about the dollars later, fam. But right now, I need for those who believe in this thing, who think this idea, I need you to contemplate it. Don't commit to anything right now. I need you to contemplate if you have a place in this space. And if you do, then I want you to reach out to me. That's all. I will commit to birthing this baby, but it ain't my baby. I don't have no ownership of it. I'm going to be a worker bee, a member of the herd. But I need my people's expertise. I cannot do this by myself. I cannot. And I'm telling you factually. I have enough integrity to tell you that if you depend on Mark Black to run a pack, I can run it into the ground. I cannot do this alone. I can be honest with you enough that I don't want you wasting your financial resources, throwing them behind me. I can't claim it. I can't call it alone. But with your help, should you decide to step up and help me out with this, we can call it together. Okay? Fam, it's getting about that time. We've been going for about 2 hours. And I know every time I always got people more one last call and all of that. I know it is what it is, and I'm sorry if I didn't get your call. I'm gonna give birth to this mug, right? I'm gonna be the baby daddy of it. Sorry, fam, I'm not taking no more calls. I'm getting ready to go ahead and wrap it up. But fam, I will be broadcasting on Saturday. You feel me? Fam, I need your expertise. Please consider in your heart if you're able to devote your expertise. If we have the right group of individuals with the same dedication to one justice claim, one debt paid for one tribe, one people, one lineage, the money will come. But if we don't set the table properly, if we don't have this thing above board, if we don't have it legitimate from word say go and keep it legitimate, then nothing, no amount of resources we get is going to make a bit of difference. All right? Family, thank you all so much for the magnificent, wonderful calls. Thank you all for listening to your man. I know some of you are cheering the demise of the run of Kamala. Nobody probably more than me. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Oh, by the way, thank you, pretty Muslima. This Friday, fam, on Discord, Big Unc, where you been, fam? Hey, it's good to see you. Yeah, you a little late, but that's all right. Catch it on the re-up. I know you will. This Friday at 4:30, my usual broadcast time, I'm not going to be doing a live broadcast. I'm going to be available on Discord. I want all of you to come and join us on Discord. It's an easy application to download. There's links to my Discord there in the description field of every video. Just click the link. You can do Discord from your phone, right? You can do Discord from your pad, right? Your tablet. You can do it from your desktop. We are going to have a get together where we're going to talk about whatever the hell we feel like talking about. While everybody else is looking to go out and kick it and, get on that end, starting their weekend off, we're going to be chopping it up. We're going to be talking about various topics. You'll get a chance to hear me not on the broadcast, and you'll get to have a say. That's going to be 4:30 this Friday on Discord, 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. So that's 5:30 Mountain, 6:30 Central, and 7:30 Eastern. All right, please join us. Easy application to use. You just create your account. Go ahead and let's make it crack, right? Jacqueline said Trump's been in 3 years, less than a year for the next election, and we're still in the I have an idea phase. Honestly, people, what the hell? I hear you, Jacqueline. That's your frustration talking. And I share your frustration sometimes, right? There's so much that we could be doing, that we should be doing. And that, for lack of a better way to say it, God willing, we will be doing. So I hope you understand that and you take that and you join us in this. All right, fam. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I gotta cook my family dinner. Y'all know I don't trust nobody in my kitchen, right? So I just want to say, as always, I love you. I thank you all for your time, for your dedication, your eyes, your hearts, your minds, for the time that I have it. It is truly appreciated. Again, search yourself to see where you are able to get in on this thing and help bring this thing to life, because it is time. It's been long past time that we have a vehicle available like this to get things done. Like Jacqueline said, to get out of the idea phase. It's time to make it crack. All right. So, family, with that said, as always, I'm going to leave you, as I always do, with wishes of love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to our people.